Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. I'm Dave Burrows and I'm the director and owner of Snow Pro Ski School based here in Switzerland. Episode 40. Can't believe I've managed to find 40 interesting people to interview for a start, but I had no idea when I put the first one of these out that it would be I'd still be doing it 40 episodes later, and you know, there's no shortage of interesting people to interview. So yeah, it's fantastic and quite the milestone. Thank you to all of those that have participated in the podcast so far, and you know, I've got a big list still of people I can see right in front of me here. A huge amount of people that I'd still would like to get in touch with. So that's really, really cool. Episode 40 brings you the second part of the podcast with Jon Ahlsen. In this part, we go more in depth into skiing than the first part. The first part was sort of more of a sort of personality piece, really. But the second part, we talk about sort of comparison of national skiing systems. We have a bit of a chat again about the Japanese technical champs, and maybe that'll be the last one, unless I find someone who knows a bit more about it and can tell me all about it. An insight into the mindset of a national team coach, which came out of a conversation that John had with someone, and then we go quite in depth into sort of skiing technique itself as well. So there's quite a lot of content in this second part. Now, I also received some more correspondence, so I should read those out, really. So I got a message from Isla Marsh. Hi, Isla. Hope you're well. Hi, Dave. I've been tuning into a few episodes of the last few months and enjoying diving into past, present, future stories of ski instructors. Just some feedback. Would love to hear a few more females on the podcast. If you have any up your sleeve. Not that I dislike men. I'm a huge fan of men. But definitely would be interesting to hear some cool women on it too. I had some backwards and forwards. I've heard that before, by the way, and I've had some backwards and forwards with Ira about that, because it's not, for the want of trying that I haven't. It seems to be the majority of men that get interviewed. I just, the women that I have approached are not. Apart from the ones that you've heard on the podcast, don't seem to be that interested. But secondly, it just seems to be, I don't know, it's just also a question of who I know. But I don't want to, this is the other thing about it, is I don't want to interview women just because they're women. I think that would be patronising. I'm more interested in doing it if they've got an interesting story to sell. So, for me, by all means put your hand up and come and be interviewed. But I am working on it. I've got a couple of names that I would really like to get an interview with. So that would be cool. I also had a message come in from William Myers. Hi, William. Hi, Dave. Just wanted to say thanks very much for the Ski Instructor podcast. They have been brilliant, especially with my own teaching and coaching and my own personal performance. Really appreciate you doing these. Thanks again. William works at snow tracks in looks like the south coast of the UK. So hi, William. Super cool profile pic on his Facebook as well of him skiing in what looks like a dinosaur suit, which is pretty cool. And lastly, hi to Max Kemplin. Dear Dave, hope no doubt you'll be fully submerged in preparation for the upcoming season. That is for sure, Max. In fact, the season once again has crept up on me, and I still feel like I'm not really prepared. I've got paper and bits and pieces everywhere and still trying to sort out stuff. So despite all the summer prep, I'm still nowhere near where I wanted to be. Anyway, he goes on to say, just wanted to share some appreciation for your creation of the Ski Instructor podcast. He's become a huge fan of the series, and I think he's now listened to every episode, which is nice. Thank you. He says, I love the relaxed, flowing nature of the conversations and the varied backgrounds of the guests. The topics covered have been really insightful, especially for the likes of myself being new to the professional side of the industry. The podcast has actually aided me in making a decision to embark on my own ski instructor journey within the French system as a 29-year-old, having been unhappy as a surveyor in London for the last 5 years. I just moved out to Serre Chevalier and began my test technique course with the French Snow Sports Academy on Monday. That is really, really cool. And good luck to you in your journey. I think I came out to the Alps when I was 30, must be 33 or something like that now. And yeah, I think the sooner you get into things like test technique and start going through the system, the better, because there's no doubt that trying to attain the higher levels of certification in our industry is a bit of a young man's game. I'm not sure what the oldest age to... I'm sure someone told me once that the oldest person that ever passed the Euro test was like 42 or something like that. So maybe a bit older, I'm not sure. But anyway, long story short is, yeah, it helps if you're relatively young and fit, and you can kind of limit the injuries that you get as you go up the pyramid, so to speak. So good luck on your journey, Max, and I wish you all the best with that. Okay, so on we go, straight into this. There's no me in the middle of this one. This is just me and Jon chatting for the second part of the podcast. I hope you enjoy this, and I will be back for episode 41. See you soon. Let's talk about skiing for a bit.
Yeah, we should get there. We're like 113.
Yeah, 113. We're doing well. This could be a two-parter, I'd say. You're well qualified in 3 different national systems.
Yeah.
NZSIA, Swiss Snow Sports, and BASI. I have my own opinions about what I see coming out of those 3 sort of national systems. But as a guy on the inside, what do you... Should we talk first about similarities and then maybe differences? I think the differences are quite stylistic, but what are the similar things? They're all talking about the same thing in different words, right? Rotation, edging, pressure.
Yeah. To be fair, about Swiss snow sports, I've converted into it. I've not gone through the whole thing. And to be fair, about New Zealand, I converted in at level 3 in New Zealand, so I've not gone the whole way.
Okay.
But I was part of the New Zealand demo team in 2015. So I had more exposure to the New Zealand system and took more on board there than I ever did from the Swiss. But like this, I think there might be some differences from what I see and what I've heard in how the Swiss teach the beginner progression. It's more rotating point where you go, and the skis will go there. At least it was. I don't know.
I think it still is. I still see people teaching that, which I'm.
And you see them when they do the aeroplane turn. They often do it to the inside.
Yeah.
The way an aeroplane would actually do it, whereas in most of the systems that I'm aware of, which is more than those 3, it would be you do it to the outside because you want to put some weight on the outside to balance on it. But as you progress up through the levels, it all converges. Because it's skis, it's snow, and it's human beings on top.
Yeah.
And there are efficient movements and there are inefficient movements, and I think all systems, there's no rocket science in it. All systems have figured out what the efficient movements are, and I think as a result they talk about very similar things. That's my thinking about that. Then there are different systems can have different templates for example, how big a short turn should be.
Yes.
How often you should make a short turn, like the rhythm required for a short turn, and that affects the input movements. Doesn't necessarily mean that if you'd let's say that the Swiss want a higher tempo short turn.
That's fair.
Then you don't have the same amount of time to like go into a deep build phase and send the feet down further to the side, and have the ski pick up more of a carved kind of turn. You have to set a higher steering angle and get out of the turn quicker. But when we examine people on the level 4 and we tell them to do a narrow corridor, that's what they have to do. Because that's what you have to do. I mean, if you're on a slalom ski and you're comfortable skiing extremely fast down the hill, you can kind of carve it still.
Yeah.
But then you're more like looking comfortable at terminal velocity than you are controlling speed.
Yeah.
And it's very hard looking comfortable at terminal velocity. Maybe we'll get into some of that later. But it's an incredible skill because the pressure builds up very quickly, and to be able to manage that might require some different movements as well. If you're going super fast and still want a high tempo. But then the corridor is narrower and the center of mass won't deflect across the hill very much. But I think a lot of the differences at higher level, if you're looking at the best skiers in all the different systems, it's more explained by templates, or like how often do you need, like what should the tempo in the short term be. That explains a lot. And how the view of speed in relation to speed down the hill in relation to how long you allow a turn to be down the hill.
Yeah.
That has a big effect on it as well. If it's okay for a turn to be quite short radius, but a long vertical distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you allow yourself that, then you can have quite a different set of inputs as well.
Yeah.
But if you want more like the semicircle kind of carved with a bit more deflection of the center of mass across the hill, you can probably almost go as fast, but it might take you a little bit longer to make it down because you'll be traveling a further distance.
Yeah. And I suppose that I'm not thinking about, I haven't really looked at any Kiwi skiers for a long time, but specifically with regards to tempo, I've got a vision in my mind of what a Swiss snow sports demonstrator would call a short turn.
Yeah.
And it is a very short arc with a really quick impulse into the snow. Big, like quick, short arc, big pressure movement. Bam, skis jump to the other side. And repeat quickly, very directly down the four line.
Mm-hmm. On a
slalom ski, trying to and not to be kicked out by the slalom ski. Requires tremendous agility.
Yeah,
it's what they want. That's their sort of how would you say? That tempo sort of sets their national style.
To an extent, because if you watch, I agree with everything you said, but I think if you look at the Swiss demo team, when they are skiing, maybe not in their exams and things, but when they're showing off their skiing, I think the tempo goes down and it's more carved.
Yes.
More deflection.
Yeah.
More race.
Yes.
Kind of turn.
Yeah. Well, that really short Swiss turn.
Yeah,
is a unique thing to the Swiss. You'd almost call it a short swing, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's like
the Austrians do that as well.
They do that a bit,
but on a GS ski typically.
Yeah. They love a GS ski.
Yeah.
And so then, the thing that I always have trouble, or used to always have trouble doing, because you hang around Switzerland too long and you see loads of guys like good skiers everywhere, razzing down the mountain, doing that ultra short turn. The thing that I would always then struggle with when I went to do BASI short turns, which are a longer tempo thing.
Yeah,
more vertical, more vertical distance.
Yeah, also wider.
And a wider corridor.
Yeah.
And so they'd almost feel like, if you spend too long in Switzerland, they'd feel like medium turns. And you'd sort of be in the turn, waiting. It's tough to look dynamic when you're doing that when you're waiting that long and you're not used to it.
Then maybe you're going too slow.
Maybe.
I
don't like to go fast.
I certainly don't feel like I'm doing any waiting, even in I would say that the BASI wide corridor is, just for reference, if you have people who are not, is minimum that the skis go a piste basher.
5 meters.
However wide that is.
Yeah, 4 or 5 meters. So that's the corridor.
Yeah, that would be the minimum. Then you can go a bit wider.
It's not quite wide.
It's
not short turn.
Well, like for me, that's a short turn. If you're on an 18-meter radius and you don't want to set too much of a steering angle, you need that space.
Yes, the habit for
if you
BASI system is to use a longer ski rather than a slalom ski.
But if you set a steering angle, then absolutely not. But if you're trying to go into it and to carve as much as possible, probably be, you're not going to leave a clean track in the work phase. But if you do it in to the turn and have a bit of a very small new moon kind of shape to the track, that's probably what we're looking for. But then, and then quite a clean exit as well. Then you need that space on an 18.
Yeah. I agree.
But as examiners in BASI, we look at the equipment people are on. It's sort of recommended to be roughly on an 18. But a lot of people do it on a slalom. But then we take that into account.
You've got to show it on a slalom, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to be more dynamic.
Your turn should probably be cleaner than the guys who are on the 18s. And we also do a narrower corridor. And we examine them on that. So it's not. So I wouldn't say that there is a BASI short turn, other than the fact that we do like balance on the outside foot high, not so much air time in between turns, just so you can build something and ideally have the shovel bend into the fall line and not just full ski bending in the fall line.
Yeah. With your experience of the Kiwi system, what do their, let's talk about short turns again. Like, what are they looking for?
It's very similar to BASI. Like I find my experience, and having done a bit in the Canadian system, haven't spoken to people from the US and New Zealand, BASI, the Irish system. It seems to me like the English speaking world is pretty much in agreement.
Okay.
They can be. There's certainly different. There's different terminology and different. But it seems like from beginner progression up, it's turn with the lower half, balance with the upper half. And then I don't know. Listeners don't know that, but you sent some of the ideas maybe that you wanted to discuss, and it seemed to me like you had an impression. Like for me, the New Zealand trainer typically skis with quite a wide stance and very square to the direction of travel, looking for a dynamic forward movement, and outcomes very similar to BASI. That's
okay.
So, but there are lots of influential individual skiers from the southern hemisphere, which might have led you to think differently.
Yeah, I was gonna do a big sweeping statement that.
But I think that's just not.
But do you think that's a couple of individuals experimenting with a narrower stance in the southern hemisphere? I'm thinking of the usual suspects who kind of promote themselves on social media. They are skiing.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing, and it might be just a phase they're going through or whatever. And it seems to be a southern hemisphere thing that those guys are skiing with a deliberately narrow stance, and it seems to come out of those technical competitions that you see in Japan.
Yeah.
Where. Like it's a very, very unique thing that they're trying to do in those things, but it doesn't look kind of practical in its application for skiing in general. You skiing, trying to do carved turns with your feet that close together.
I do think it could be. You know, I filmed with a few of the people you have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can say their names, Paul Lorenz and Riley McGlashan.
Yeah.
But they're both Australian, so they're not New Zealand.
Sorry,
so maybe guilt by geographical adjacency or
Well,
But anyway, they I filmed with Projected Productions with those guys. Met them in Argentina, and they at Interski, and they asked a few of us if we wanted to come and film the following Northern Winter, so we did in Hintertux. And they had already filmed once, and they have a very close stance, and they have a very, very compact transition.
Yes.
And from what I understood from those weeks, you know, I'm not an APSI like Australian. I seem to recall that they said that what they were doing didn't really relate to what the APSI were doing.
So it was just a road they were going down.
Yes, and I think a lot to score. They were really fascinated by the Japanese tech champs, and they both run ski schools in Japan.
Oh yeah, okay.
Both Riley and Paul. So they spend a lot of time there, and I think that style of skiing is. The one thing you don't see, because as a like a European looking at it, it looks weird. But one thing that you don't see is how fast they go. It is terminal velocity. They are so fast down the hill. It's incredible. But if you, I think
what ski do they do those tech champs on?
They ski on slalom skis for short turns, and then they have GS skis for the long turns.
All right.
And then they do some free runs. I don't know if they have like a mid something in between, or if they do the other stuff on the slaloms. I don't know. It looks to me like they're doing the bumps on slalom skis. But they were really keen on those things. And they're obviously very influential Australian skiers. So I don't know if they have changed the APSI to go that way, or if I misremember, but I don't know. But I think they really enjoyed that template, if you will. And you know, if you think about, if you're going to impress someone on ice, you're probably looking like, it's hard to carve on ice, right? To deflect on ice without skidding. But in Japan, the snow is really soft.
Yeah.
So they're skiing on, it's groomed, but it's typically very soft. So then you need like bending your ski a lot and deflecting a lot, and like really shortening the radius of compared to the side cut of the ski. It becomes really hard when the surface gives.
Yeah.
So you got to do something else to impress. Then speed and tempo probably.
And that would explain the sort of the high kind of lateral angles that you see, like inclined angles that you see on some of those tech champs. If the snow, I have no knowledge of Japanese snow, so
but
if it's soft,
that's what they've
it
said
would
to
explain
me.
why you would use quite a close platform.
Yeah.
You know, and balance against that powder. Oh, like you would, like your skiing powder, right up here. Like you would not really want to be using too much separation, lateral separation.
Yeah, and
if you haven't got that support to
from like some of those movements look like they're pure style over efficiency or function, to me anyway. But I don't know the surface that they're skiing on. But certainly, if the snow is soft here in Europe, let's say it snows quite a bit in the afternoon the day before, and then they groom it. So they've just groomed really soft snow. You're not going to try to get in a short term have super high edge angle and go a wide corridor because snow just doesn't allow it. Yeah. So you try to do something else to impress, and if you want super high tempo, then you need quick transitions, and then a narrow base of support is quicker to cross over, like to move laterally across because they don't cross over. But to cross that base of support, if it's narrow, is going to be quicker. So that it makes sense from that perspective as well. And then if the snow gives a lot, it's probably better to be a little softer on it and allow the outside leg to soften quicker. So like a different type of pressure management, which is a little bit gentler on the surface. That's basically what's available, and so I think that
I suppose also
those
if you're
two
not,
have been certainly like those two, and they are want to make sure everyone knows they are. When you watch it live, it's like holy moly, this is good. Yeah,
I don't doubt it.
But it's clearly quite a different template to what you see here in the Alps.
I'm just curious about it, really, and I think it's a really it's a very narrow thing. So you do it. Yeah, you do it. You're judged. It's judged points. Yeah. Speed is important. You can see why you'd want a soft transition out of the turn because you're not looking for any kind of speed control. So you're not looking to have a hard exit.
No.
You just want to go through, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get it. But for me, part of it is I see a lot of that in the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm wondering if that's what you see when you go through the New Zealand ski instructor system, or whether in fact they're all talking about the same thing at the highest level, and these are just two outliers because they're going down that road. And that's what they're interested in. We're all interested in different things.
Yeah. Right? I don't know how. With Australia again, I don't know Australia, but I saw none of that in the New Zealand system when I was there. I've not been there since 2015, so it could be changing. But when I looked at the demo team, I didn't, and when I know some of them, so I see they're skiing on social media. I don't see any of that. I wouldn't call it Southern Hemisphere. I would more call that Japanese.
Yeah.
But the Japanese were very influenced by the Austrians.
Okay.
They had a bunch of like Richie Berger.
Yeah.
And what were the other two guys?
Tony. I can't remember.
Those best skiers. Yeah. Phenomenal.
One of my favourite videos.
Yeah,
I think it's bumps, I don't know. Yeah. But it's got everything's fluorescent, and it's got brilliant music, and the skiing's out of this world.
So good.
On big straight skis.
Yeah. But so they went, from what I understood from Andreas Spettel, who is an Austrian very good skier. He was Johanna's examiner for the Staatliche.
Okay.
But he also filmed. We worked together in New Zealand, and he filmed with Projected. And he also has that incredible speed down the hill. Tempo is high, stance is pretty close, but he does it on European surfaces more then, so it's a bit harder. So he has much more of a the rebound, but he takes it more down the hill than I like to do. I take it more across the hill. And at a much lower level. But So he like a lot of Austrians ski super fast down the hill as well.
Yeah.
And the tempo is super high, and if you're skiing fast and the tempo is high, you're not gonna deflect as much as if the tempo is a bit lower.
Yeah.
So there's I think there's a connection from Austria to Japan to some of the Australians, and some New Zealand guys also go and work in Japan. Where it all comes from, who knows? But I think in Europe we quite often berate, or it's a little bit. What are they doing?
Yeah, you see that.
But when you see it live,
yeah,
it is so good what they do.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
No.
So don't get me wrong, but like watching it, it's like, oh my god! And then, but that's what I followed them a few times, obviously skiing, and they have short impulse, but for me, I'm looking to like almost make a semicircle or bend the ski so much that it's even shorter than that without losing speed. That's sort of one of my ideas that I want to do. Whereas they allow themselves a lot of space down the hill.
Yeah.
And that's how they, I guess, maintain the speed and don't come undone.
Yeah. Well, that's part of that. I mean, those Japanese technical comps, although it's a very narrow and specialised road to go down, but what they're doing
for us it is
incredibly skillful.
For them it's
for them it's the highest level, right?
They're like pros.
Yeah.
And they have action figures.
Yeah. No, come on.
They have action figures. The best guys.
Are we missing a trick here? Is no one going to do the
they don't
Dave Burrows
teach.
and Jon Ahlsen action figures?
No, but as far as I understand, like the best guys who win these things, I think it's a bit political, but they don't teach. Their job is to
be just a technical champs pro.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So that's how big it is. It's on TV and stuff.
We're in the wrong game here.
Well, we couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it?
No.
Even if you trained forever to do it? No.
That's the sad part of that. So no, and I should also say I don't know why we've devoted so much time to the Japanese.
I think it's fascinating.
I just have like some indirect knowledge from I have 3-4 friends who have participated in them.
Yeah.
But none of them are Japanese.
Should get one. And, I said that should be on my list. If you're a Japanese technical champ skier, I want to know more. Come and be on the podcast.
Yeah. So I just it's incredibly skillful, but at the same time, I don't want to ski that way. And I think I can quite confidently say that it is not how ski racers ski. And for me, you can have whatever view you want of that, but they are the best at making turns. So for me, that's would be the natural thing to look for inspiration for making turns. And they ski quite differently than that.
Yeah.
Hence, I don't look to that for my own ski. I experiment with it every once in a while. I ski much faster than I used to. And my stance is narrower. Just because it's not as narrow as theirs is, but I just, when we were there, I just thought everyone looks better than me, and part of that is their stance is narrower. So, and it's hard to narrow your stance. To balance on the outside foot well and have leg independence with a narrow stance, it's very hard.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Yeah. With okay.
I don't know.
Because so much
any of this was on your bubble sheet.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Imagine my main question is I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder if it would be too rude to have a third muffin.
No, absolutely.
Do you think? Or you judge me if I have a third one?
I think you should have a fourth one.
No, come on, it's too much. I'm going to lunch soon.
I
could have been marching at 1 to meet Charlotte.
I have no need for muffins.
No?
So don't be shy.
No, I can't. They can't all be gone.
Yeah, there's 2 more over there as well. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about
They're
it.
really good. Talk to me. You had some chats recently with some quite high level ski racing coaches. You had a chat with an Austrian guy.
Yeah.
What came out of that was interesting to you?
Yeah. How do we? It was a funny story. So Johanna, my partner, she's Austrian.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from this little village that has produced some good skiers and good coaches. Her old race coach is a good friend of the family. He's always there, and for some reason he really likes me. I don't speak German. He doesn't speak Swedish. Well, he doesn't speak Swedish for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't speak any English either.
All right.
So I don't know. We sort of communicate somehow, and he is a good friend of Marco Pfeiffer, who's now the top. He's the head coach of the men's technical team in Austria.
Wow.
So top dog, and he was also in the past. That's why I knew about him. He was the Swedish head coach.
Okay.
Back when Sweden was good, we had 5 guys in slalom in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
That was him.
Okay.
And then he left, and now we have no one.
He's coming back.
Obviously, it's not as simple as that. But he coached Hagi and Amir and
Mm-hmm.
Larsson and those guys. And he's from this little village. And Johanna's old race coach, he's like, oh yeah, we should get you two together, because I'm, a bit of a fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
More of a coach than a skier these days, so I gotta switch role models, right? And then
the next step is having the padded knees and
exactly.
and then you're good.
But yeah, so I thought maybe we'd meet for a coffee at Johanna's coach's house or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Johanna's old race coach Erwin, he invited us to dinner at Marco's house.
Oh wow.
So we actually had dinner there this summer. I was quite nervous walking there because never met him, and it just seemed a bit random.
Yeah.
But very gracious. We sat outside in a nice summer evening. Had typical Austrian jause, just cured meats and stuff, and beer, football on the telly on the indoors, and so it was really nice. We chatted about various things. I think you realize what a different game it is for the World Cup skiers. Just managing their bodies is a big thing. They're actually one thing is, it seems like they want to move away from the hard surfaces because their bodies wear down so much.
They're not skiing on snow.
No,
Are they?
No, they're not. But it seemed like there's talk about not injecting as much.
Oh yeah.
Going forward, to save their bodies. So he a lot of his, he's got an experienced team, obviously. A lot of. I mean, these are guys who've only skied.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do, and they're the best. So, I guess there's only that many hard turns the body can take in a life, and better make them quality. Don't do an unnecessary amount. That was one of the things. And one interesting thing was he because I asked him what was the difference teaching or coaching the. Can't believe I said teaching. He doesn't teach. Coaching the Swedish team versus the Austrian team, and he said the Swedes really good on ice because
they grow up on it,
but not good when it got bumpy and stuff. So he free skied quite a lot with them, but with the Austrians, he said 95% skates.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Maybe not on the Europa Cup level, but he has the World Cup guys. 95% skates.
And it's short but quality.
Yeah, that was another thing. You don't think about it. It's like, oh yeah, well, in New Zealand you can do maybe 6-7 runs on the glacier. You do 4 or 5 because of the altitude, but it gets tired quicker. Like they have, it's everything is. They've thought of everything. Yeah.
Wow.
But I guess one thing that we didn't talk about with the Japanese style is for us it's very cross-undery type of transition. Like the hip moves down as you're releasing the skis. So I asked him what his ideas about that, because you see a lot of that in racing. You see them cross under, and Tom and I have always had our ideas about why they do that. And so I asked him about it, and as I was talking about the cross under move, he's like, "Yeah, no, that's a recovery move." So it's not. That's what he said anyway, and why wouldn't you listen to him? So like
why would it be that?
So if you're late, or if the course is so offset that you're forced to, then you cross under
in order to
bring the skis back quicker and transition
and get
quicker.
them higher on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be. But he said, you're going to be weak, and you're not going to bend the shovel.
Okay.
And so it's not as fast. So if you can, don't ride the outside foot all the way until the ski is flat. You got to get out of the turn on your inside foot. And so that wasn't new to me. It was nice to have someone say it to me, because that's what we've been talking about with our trainees for many years. Don't cross over. If you have the outside ski, the leg is quite long in the work phase, and then it has to come back underneath you somehow. And if you allow it to come back, but then when you go to lengthen your legs, if you do that on the outside foot, you get that classic pop, right?
Yeah.
And like an up unweighting or a crossover where you unweight the skis, and it's quite easy to pivot them and set the steering angle. A lot of like the typical old school short term would be that kind of thing.
Down, yeah.
Up, yeah. And when I raced, we talked about vertical work. That was a big deal. I don't hear anyone talking about that anymore. But that was in the 80s. So the other like extreme option then is to have the outside ski loaded and pressure on the outside foot through the leg, and then bend that leg and keep the pressure on the outside foot until the ski is flat. That to me would be a cross under.
Yeah.
And then you have the version in between where you have the outside ski loaded, the outside leg is long, and just as soon as you have direction change, your center of mass, you travel out from the center of fall line. Now it's changed direction, it's starting to travel back towards the center of fall line. Your skis are pointing across the hill, and you sort of have the direction change you look for. Then you go on the inside leg, and
that's when
find that sort of the pinky toe edge of the inside ski. Start to lengthen that leg, and pronate the uphill foot to drive yourself across.
So you're trying in that situation to get onto the new outside ski
in the old turn.
When it's on the old edge.
Yeah.
So you're pushing up from the little toe, pushing down into it, and as it goes over to the big toe.
Yeah, and as you're doing that, you're lengthening the leg as well to make sure that when you come into the new turn in what BASI would call the build phase, which I think is a great word for it, that you're on that ski, but not just on it, you're on top of the boot, if you will, so that you are mainly balancing on the front end of the ski, that you can get the shovel to not just, so that the ski is not just edged, but that it starts to bend a little bit into the fall line. So you're not coming into the work phase again, BASI, but I think that makes sense. So that when you're coming into the work phase, the ski is already a bit bent. Yeah. Because then you can shorten the work phase, it can be more efficient, and you can get out without looking for that late, super high edge angle.
When you're building that, this is something that I picked up last year in Zermatt on a Swiss Snow Sports refresher.
Mm-hmm.
It made a massive difference to my personal skiing, because what it did was it blocked the early diving in, which is my habit. I don't know where it comes from, but it's my habit is to lean in too early and then have nowhere to go with. So when you're
typically you have to angulate a lot to find the outside ski as well.
Yeah, I don't have that range of angulation in my hips anymore. But I'm gonna I'm gonna get up and demonstrate something. This is the worst radio ever. But
I'll talk you through it. Listen.
Yeah. So you're talking about. So I'm coming around the outside turn here.
Yeah.
That's my old leg, and you're then starting. Your process is to load that up.
Yeah.
Roll it in, and then go over that way. Right.
Yeah.
It's such bad podcast. At this point where you're transitioning from the old leg to the new outside ski, old inside edge, where are your hips pointing at that point?
Pretty square.
You're pretty square.
Yeah.
And this is how you do it. Swiss Snow Sports say in their thing that this
depends on how big the turn is.
Yeah,
of course.
depends what you're doing. All of this is interesting though. Because what really helped me last year, so let's say you're here, the initiator, one of the initiators, Swiss Snow Sports, is a positive rotation of the hip.
Yeah. I know they talk about that.
The direction in which you want to go. And the reason why this works, I found, well, for me, is what that does is if you've got a positive rotation here, but your legs are still going over there. Your legs are going over into the direction.
They go where they're pointing.
Yes, but they're going towards kind of the deflection still going on from the old turn.
Yeah.
I've got a positive rotation towards the new turn.
Yeah.
You cannot bend the hip in. You cannot early angulate the hip.
Yeah.
Right, because you've got this positive rotation.
Yeah.
And then what happens is like I cannot physically, my hip cannot go that way. Biomechanically, it cannot do that, right? Because it's positively rotated into the turn. As I go round the turn here, then that movement comes, that hip angle there. And what that means is that if you have that positive rotation in, it means that you can't put too much angle onto the skis too soon. So for me, my habit used to be early season I'd just go wham and use all of it at the top of the turn, so I'd have nowhere to go. I can't influence the turn at the bottom of the turn. Or you might want it as a ski instructor. If you have a positive hip rotation, and I'm saying this only works for me, might not work for everybody, but with that positive hip rotation towards the turn, it limits the amount that I can drop the skis over, so it lengthens the build phase, or turn phase 1, or whatever they call it in Switzerland. And then it gives me more space to operate during the work phase, the middle phase, or phase 2, or whatever. And it really means I can kind of whip the bottom of the turn really well.
Yeah.
For me, it works.
Yeah.
Might not work for everybody, and I'm sure it's not what they're doing on the World Cup. But that's something that I think is interesting.
Yeah, like for me, without having thought about it tons, I've seen some of the demo team guys talk about that in online videos. I don't see that they do it when they ski though.
That's interesting. You think they're square a lot of the time?
Yeah. To me, it's like it can certainly be. Maybe they think about it a little bit. It could be maybe that they're coming away from.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Good. No, to me it sounds like my initial reaction to it is that sounds like a drill that's trying to block a movement, which is excellent. those drills are great, but it sounds to me like it's an added movement that if you do something else, you don't necessarily need.
Yeah, okay. So if you're able to control better your own body.
So if you move your movements further down and, towards the sole of your foot, then you feel how far you can go before you abandon that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't go too deep too early anyway. Without adding that rotation of the hip into the turn. I don't know. I haven't. There's these things that I saw it at some point last season, but I didn't have time to try it out. I think it was Kille Weibel.
That guy can ski.
He can ski, absolutely. I just don't see him do it.
No, he looks pretty square a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks to me like he rolls the ski up with the lower half, sends the feet out, and then stacks himself on top of it without that.
That little extra movement.
Yeah, and I certainly didn't see like Daniel Juhl or those guys who were in Zermatt working on that movement. So I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but it's my initial thinking is it sounds like a drill that can block your ability to go in too early, and that's great if that works. But then I would probably try to remove that movement and figure out how to do it lower down.
Mm-hmm.
But I might be wrong.
Okay.
I have to try it.
What did the World Cup go? So what else came out of that discussion apart from the transition stuff? Is there anything else useful that came? So any little nuggets that we can get out of the Austrian men's World Cup coach is pretty useful.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing. I didn't want to push him too much. He was on holiday.
Do you want to pump him for information?
No, exactly. I felt the little I could get. I really wanted to ask him about that one though, just because for me it seems like a misunderstanding or like confirmation bias. If you see someone make a maneuver that you like, you select that turn and then you look at that turn, and then if you look at other turns, he might not or she might not be making those movements. That's why I prefer looking at free skiing, because they're forced to do a bunch of crap that they don't want to do when they're in gates.
Yeah.
Unless sometimes they end up on a easy hill for a GS race, and then it's very hard to tell the difference between racers.
I think some of the best videos online are World Cup skiers free skiing. I think you see a lot of those. You get a lot of those on elite skiing that you see.
Sometimes it can look like they're lazy, like they're not trying to do much. But like I said, it looks like magic when you're there live because they're bending the ski without doing all these extreme movements that a lot of us ski instructors do to make it look exciting.
Yeah,
but that's part of our job. So
selling it.
And
the ex-racers seem to just do, or the racers when they're free skiing, they do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
No, like I think it was Ivica Kostelic who in an interview said, no, but like a good slalom turn is when you've removed all crap. And we ski instructors just add crap to make it look cool. No, like there was a very it was quite a well-known ski instructor there in Zermatt when we were there. Like online videos.
Okay.
Good guy, very good skier. Don't get me wrong. But when he skied down, Tom and I were doing some lapping then, so he skied down towards us, and it's like that's really good, but his turn radius is longer than the World Cup guys, and but it looks more extreme. Like his hip was almost on the snow, massive amounts of angulation and all of that stuff that we see online, and then you look at the World Cup guys, they're bending the ski quicker. Their hip is like at least a foot and a half higher off the ground,
And making
sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, but we all have to. Like as ski instructors, we're trying to sell like a dream or something. Whereas the racers don't care about that.
No.
But I find it more, for me, it's more appealing with like that functional minimalism over the ski instructor going all out for hip on the snow and knuckles and stuff. I used to try to do that a lot, but I've moved away from that.
The hip on the snow thing is a trend, isn't it? It's like, I can do this, so I'm going to video it.
But it's not that hard to get it on the snow. But getting out with grace is very hard. You don't see a lot of ski instructors being able to do that. You see a lot of like overloaded skis in what should be the release phase, like when the skier is, you see and I do that. I do that as well because I'm not good enough. But you see a lot of people actively adding edge after the fall line
to get the hip closer to the snow.
So you see the leg, the inside leg keeps shortening to really get down there. But then it's really hard to get out.
Yeah,
because you just added a bunch of extra pressure that you didn't need. And you're basically telling your ski to carve back up the hill when you should be getting out, and it just makes it. And then you see like the ski just asking, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And it's like, wow, buckles under the pressure.
It's true, yeah.
And like the ski will tell you, if you just listen to it, the ski will tell you, "We're good here. I'm done. Like we're going that way. What do you want?" Right? So you just, but it doesn't look as cool because it looks easier.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do as a ski instructor? You gotta choose what you go for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. This I want to take you because you said something earlier, which I think was, and I think we might wrap it up after this. This is already in the territory of a two-parter, so it's cool.
Sorry.
No, I'm pleased.
Johanna warned you.
It saves me another month of work. That's tremendous. You said to me earlier, I think it's fascinating because this is something. I think that when I wouldn't say you go beyond technique, but you go beyond. PK talks about it, and he'll talk about it in the next
technique.
No, that's true. He said I'm not allowed to talk about technique.
For me, you can say technique. I know what you mean, but
you go beyond. What did he call it? The something phase, acquired phase, and you then go off in whatever direction that you want to go off, whatever interests you. You said something earlier about going straight, and you're like, "What is the point of this? I'm just getting to lifts really, really fast. That's fine." But then you discovered the advent of carving skis.
Yeah.
For you, this sort of pleasure comes from the sensation of being in the turn. That's what I take out of what we've talked about today.
Yeah.
For you, certainly that's part of what skiing is. Probably a lot of what skiing is the feeling.
Well, if you look at a lot of skiing up here in Verbier, but for me, it's certainly like turning is the thing. Yeah. I'm old-fashioned that way. I realise that.
We know. Yeah, we're not talking about just going straight with fat skis.
Or upside down in the park, or I can't do any of that stuff.
It's just a couple of grumpy old dudes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I've told the listeners this before, and you've heard this before. For me, I'm now going down a very different road, which is I view the slope, funny enough, like your notepad here, as a white canvas, and it's for me to put my own painting on that as I'm going down the hill. That's how I think about it, and I try to work with the terrain to make what do you call it, skillful maybe, but use the terrain skillfully and my ability skillfully to match the terrain and use different bits of the terrain in a stylish way, in an aesthetic way. That's where I'm going. It's just a tangent I'm off on at the moment, and it works and makes me happy. For you, it's about the sensation of being in the turn. Are you able to describe a little bit more about what that feeling is for you?
I think
If that's your thing.
If you're skiing well, like for me, like the closer you get to carving, the better the sensation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're skiing well, even if it's steep, even if it's icy, it feels pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, there's pressure, but if you're skiing well, you've timed your movements into the turn well, so you're sort of working along the forces as much as possible, which is why I don't like late work, because then, like, all of a sudden, if you're loading the ski in the traverse, that's another G.
Yeah.
Pretty much immediately. Why do that?
Mm-hmm.
So finding, like, especially when my back went, like, how can I try to deflect as much as I have been with not being able to cope with the same amount of loads? I gotta figure something else out. So that's what I've been working on. But I kind of want to say, in contrast to you, I completely get what you're going with, like using rollers and cambers and stuff. But for me, and something I talk to with my trainees quite a bit is, like, and if it's choppy and stuff, you know, it snowed a bit, then we're in the afternoon and they're making short turns still. Hide the surface. I want to see one rhythm, top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you make a mistake, step off, make a new turn, hide the surface, make it look smooth. And that might look a little robotic, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's easy to, I ended up here. Like, no, don't end up there. Be in charge so that you can, like, prove to me that you can be a metronome.
Yes, I was about to say metronome, because that's where I think you're going with this.
I used to be a drummer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So rhythm is extremely important to me, and I like to see my trainees, like, let's say we have this run where we train on a lot where I don't see them when they set off, and then I want to see a helmet first, like, deflect as they appear over the roller, and then they get steeper, and then there's a couple of rollers with some kinks in them. Just metronome that.
Yeah.
When you can do that over and over, then you can go and explore. But I need to see that you can do that, because that's hard.
Yeah. Being
free and saying, well, I started over here doing short turns, but down here, all of a sudden, I'm skiing fast long turns. Mm-hmm. That's not hard.
Yeah, that's right.
So show to me that you can stick to one rhythm and one corridor, top to bottom. First of all, you'll pass your exams doing that, and then you can go and be artistic and whatever. But that's like, before you become a good jazz musician, improviser, you need the basic skills. And the basic skills include sticking to a rhythm.
When you try to do that within your own skiing, so I'm assuming when you go free skiing, you like to keep that rhythm. This is just me thinking for you, but you tell me if I've got it wrong. But you like to ski in a rhythm. Yeah. And within, irrespective of the terrain in front of you, which is part of the skill of it.
If you're skiing bumps, then you can't, unless they've been man-made.
Yeah, it's a bit more freeform, isn't it?
Yeah.
But is one of your goals then, do I take this right, that is one of your goals within the turn these days is to equalise the pressure all the way through the turn?
No, I don't think you can do that.
As much as possible?
I try not
so you don't have any waves that...
I certainly try not to have any waves, but that tends to be, for me, that's when the pressure is late. That's when I didn't do enough earlier.
Yeah, it hits you at the bottom of the turn. Right?
Yeah, and then the ski says, well, whoa, what's up here? And I don't... then it starts asking questions of you. I think... and of course, I get chatter and all that stuff, and but I'm looking to not get that. But if I do, I try not to let that affect the rhythm. Yeah, you just have to get rid of that turn.
Yeah,
step
You
off.
say, I didn't quite get that one right.
Yeah.
That's why the skis
Yeah.
chattering. There must be something else
Then
that I need to do somewhere else.
Yeah,
I haven't got it
usually
quite right.
you've ended up a little bit too compressed, so you're not using the front of the ski so well early enough.
Mm-hmm.
So the move out of a chatter turn tends to be a fast forward movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
To
You've got to
on
get the ski
shovel.
working
Yeah,
earlier,
exactly.
right?
But then like for me, I'm at the level now where I can certainly stick a rhythm almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it can be quite fun to not do that. Have like a wide corridor, and then you do a couple of little shimmy, some quick, like let's say you're in gates, it'd be like a verticale,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go back into, but without gaining speed, so that you can come back to what you were doing before. So it's like, this is the base. Now I'm gonna do a little variation, and then I'm skillful enough that I can return to base.
Mm-hmm.
And keep going that way. Or,
Yeah.
You want to just on purpose change your fall line. So you do a little longer carve, something like that. That's absolutely fine. But for me, I like to, with my trainees anyway, I like to see, we will work on all of that, because that's something we examine at times in BASI. But first, show me that you can sit in the background and just hold the rhythm for the orchestra here.
Yeah.
And no matter what skiing, like independent of templates, I think rhythm is, if you're showing snowplow turns, you should have a rhythm to performance.
Yeah.
If you all the way up to long turns, like carving down something steep and hard, rhythm.
Do you find some people don't have that ability to have a natural rhythm?
Yeah, I mean,
Some people just aren't like that, right?
absolutely. But until you can show me that you can control when the turn happens, how can I verify that you're in control? How can I trust that you're in control?
You're in for the ride, right?
Yeah. And that's not as impressive as you controlling your rhythm. If you make a mistake, you have that turn to get rid of that mistake.
Yeah.
And then the rhythm's got to go again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's to me that's impressive when people can do that. And especially if it's the surface is tricky and bumpy and that kind of thing. If you can still hold a rhythm, that's pretty cool.
Make it look smooth.
Yeah.
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 What's this? I know that here last winter we had there was an enormous amount of gap programs going on.
The whole world descended.
Whole world came here because it was open, and obviously nothing in France was open, and no one could go and do their gap year or whatever.
And the North America ended up here as well.
Did you get a corresponding bump in the number of trainees for your sort of expert program that you and Jon ran?
We were busy last year, but that was quite. It takes a little bit of time before gappies reach us.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a direct.
No, it's at least a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, not immediately. I think now there's. Last year was very good for us. Could have been like the last scramble before Brexit.
Yeah.
This year's, I think that the numbers are down a bit so far, but it was still pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But one thing that's been fun the last few years is, because Tom and I we've always thought that it's a full cert program rather than a BASI 4 program.
Yeah. So well-rounded, high-level skills.
Yeah. So last year we had a guy from Bulgaria.
Oh yeah.
To a boy and a girl from Denmark. They probably want me to call them a man and a woman, but
watch out, you might offend someone.
And a couple from Australia as well that are here training with us. And a guy going for his Canadian 4.
Alright, so a real mixed bag.
Yeah, so and a guy who's considering carrying on in the PSI as well. So so and I think seems like we have a couple from Australia coming this year as well, which is quite a big commitment.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah, it's a long way. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this winter. Always trying to. I'm quite analytical and self-reflective with my coaching these days. Anyway, before I just no, they have to do this, and then we hit their forehead hard enough until we crack.
You will
let the knowledge in somehow. But now we tried to. Yeah, so I got some new. It's the same things, but having new ideas of how to present, like the words you use, the analogies you use. Always try to expand that before and during every season. But it's remarkable how often, I'm always working on my own skiing, and I think, nothing ever works, but like you have little glimpses of something, and thinking about it in different ways can sometimes generate those glimpses. And remarkable how often a new concept that I get works really well for someone. So to keep doing that is always fun and relevant. Yeah.
Be interesting to see what this winter looks like.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit nervous. I know there are Delta cases in Verbier now.
I wonder when the fatigue is going to set in with people are just sick of it.
I think certainly
we've got to go back to normal at some point.
People are sick of it. I have no opinion on when that should be.
I think the good thing about
too complicated for a ski instructor to have a real opinion. You see the outcome of policies.
Yeah.
But you only see the outcome of policies that are enacted, not the ones that weren't. Yeah. And so you only have, it was only this bad.
Yes.
But how bad would it have been if they'd done something else?
Yeah, you can't know that, can you?
No. So I'm quite careful in passing judgment on those policies.
I think the good thing is that the Swiss have set a precedent.
I think it'll stay open.
There is no question.
Yeah.
There is no question whatsoever that skiing will be open for business here in Switzerland this year. It absolutely cannot be any other way, because they'll just point to last year and say, well, it was more serious last year, so why aren't we open?
Unless there's a new variant that. But so I'm less cautiously optimistic. I'm more truly optimistic. I was not optimistic at all last year.
I think what will be interesting is what happens when the other countries. I'll be surprised if France, Italy, Austria have another shutdown season.
I doubt that.
I don't think that will be the case, and how that affects skier numbers here.
Yeah.
And the other big issue is, the availability of international travel to people, and whether all those people who missed their year skiing holiday last year,
I think it's a huge demand.
Yeah,
huge.
It's demand. Like a wave of skiers waiting to come.
My impression here, at least last year, was that on a sunny day, there were so many more locals, not just like the saisonniers and like the locals to Verbier and Le Chable, but people from down the valley, probably working from home, saying, you know what, it's sunny, it's snowy, I'm going, I'll do my work in the evening.
Yeah.
Because it was so busy on the slopes. And it wasn't busier in town, but on the hill it was. Normally we move over to Combat Celine, run over in Nondown above Sivier.
Oh, okay.
The chairlift that goes up to the red runs there.
Yeah.
Sort of in January, February, we spent quite a bit of time there with the trainees, and normally it's just a win every time you go there. And this year it was never a win.
No.
So busy. You go there because it's not that steep, and you can start doing longs on a bit more of a pitch, but it's not full on yet. So you go there mainly to do longs. And it was so busy, you could never do any longs over there. Every time we just...
Yeah. It's true.
So it's really busy on the slopes, but not busier in town. So it must have been locals from down the valley.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're still working from home, because that could affect crowds.
Who knows? I don't know. It was a real. It was tough to say who these people were last year. I also think we lost a bunch of ski.
Was that similar in your area?
The biggest issue we had, and I think the Porte du Soleil attracts a different type of skier to the ones that come here.
But that's the thing last year. Like, we didn't have only we don't really have a Bogner crowd here, but it was, you saw people on like 15-year-old skis and that kind of, like, cheap kit.
Yeah.
Normally, people here have Gore-Tex, but
Yeah,
it's brand new and
Backpack.
it's this year's.
Yes.
It's not last year's.
Yeah, it's true.
And we saw like normal people, not ultra wealthy people.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know what happens to them in the season though. Where do they go? Maybe they go to their more local resorts or something. I'm not sure.
Or maybe they don't ski so much.
Yeah.
Maybe they just had time because they were working from home and
it's
said,
possible.
I'll pop up today because I don't care.
It's possible. Where we were, the biggest issue, I think, a lot of people come to the Porte du Soleil who are, it's a bit more family friendly.
Yeah.
The slopes aren't so challenging, maybe, and they, for a lot of people, the ones who missed out on last year were the lunch crowd.
Yeah.
The people who come on a nice sunny day and come for a lunch, right? Because a lot of the restaurants just closed.
Yeah.
They just closed, and they were like, it's midweek, we're just not open.
Yeah.
We're just not. And maybe it was a bright sunny day, they might open exceptionally or something like that. But if it was bad weather, they would just close. Without warning. Yeah. So you'd be planning your day according to where you might... Yeah, it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Because you'd arrive somewhere with a client and you go, oh, sorry, they're shut. It makes you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. But secondly, if you've got a group of kids and they need to warm up in a cold...
There was nowhere to warm up this winter.
Nowhere.
This past winter.
Hard. Really hard.
Yeah, Tom and I would get on the bubble at Ruinette. We bring lunch anyway, and normally there's a picnic room at Ruinette. But we'd get in the bubble, eat...
Yeah.
On the way down to La Chaux, pop out, buy a coffee, return back up.
Just to warm up?
At least you're out. It was cold, but at least you're out of the wind. And you're not stood on snow.
Yeah. I spent a few lunches sitting in my car.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Sitting in the car with the heater on. Sorry, Greta, that I had my car on, but I had to. There was no other way.
No.
Because it's
January's
minus
cold.
16.
Yeah. It's cold.
God. I can't feel my feet and I've got to go up for another 3 hours. It's not...
I've gone quite good. I have heated socks. I have a heated vest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I always bring a backpack with like ginger and like chopped up ginger and squeezed lemon tea, water, just to, sometimes a bit of cayenne pepper in there to
get you going.
Heat the system up a little bit. So I've gotten quite good at staying warm.
Yeah,
because we do a bit of lap coaching.
Yeah,
here and there.
Yeah, you definitely need the heated.
And then if it's really cold, then I've cut out a little piece of like one of those sleeping mats that you go camping with. Cut out a piece of that I stand on.
Oh yeah.
Then you're not on the snow. That helps a bit.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't invent that. Race coaches have known about this for years. But,
I know, this is news to me.
So
I'm gonna.
Then you roll that up and it looks like you're skiing around with a yoga mat. I don't care if I can stay a bit warmer.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Heat, but I might have to succumb to that this winter. I don't think I can do the race boots all winter anymore.
No.
Like in January, it's cold, man.
Yeah.
Cold. So there is somewhere in the UK a set of heated boot heaters waiting for me.
Oh, okay.
And I need to make sure they get out here.
Yeah, for me the socks were better because like the boot heaters, they sit on the sole, and that means you don't get the heat up onto the tip of your toes, and that's where I've done some damage in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So with the sock you can pull it a little bit.
I definitely had that. It was this year. I frostbit a toe a little bit. It
took
ages to go.
Yeah.
I didn't fall off.
Mine on the day I did my Euro test.
Yeah.
Like minus 22, 40k winds.
Yeah.
We just stood there in like foot of powder. And,
Yeah.
ever since I've had cold feet. Yeah.
Once they go cold, they never.
No,
back.
I don't think so.
No, that's
like
apparently the thing. Right.
All right.
Tell me a little bit more, just to plug your program for this winter, because everyone gets a chance to plug themselves.
All right.
There's no.
Yeah. So Tom Waddington and myself run a full cert program for anyone basically who want to improve their skiing such that they get good enough for the full cert. And this year we've actually expanded it down a little bit, so a bit more experienced going for the ISIA can come and train with us as well. And it's most people join the full program, but we're flexible, and then it's 8 weeks spread out over the season with some breaks, and so you have your own practice time. If you work for ski school, you can go and work peak weeks, and it's been very successful. We have it's a lot of fun. Like, everyone's super motivated, very good team spirit, and we end up with a bunch of passes every year. I think on the BASI 4, I wouldn't be surprised if like the last 3-4 years we've cranked out like half of them through our program. Last year we had 8 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Who passed? Yeah, that's it's not good for business though, because we're not going to come back. So.
Yeah, you gotta lower the level of your coaching to get to repeat.
And it's we do it properly. It's like a miniature. It's like as much of an athlete's program as you can get in the span of one winter. Yeah, spend a lot of time deconstructing funk for a few weeks and trying to replace that with sound stuff instead of funk. Yeah, and then we tilt the ground a little bit more, and then we tilt it a bit more, and eventually we tilt it enough to be on the pitches where the exams take place. I love it. It's such a cool job. Every day is so, like, once Johanna knows, like, once I've said, I don't fancy it today. Oh yeah, just once. Once in however many years it is now. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's how much fun it is. No matter if it's raining or whatever. That's that once. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Where would one go to find information about this? Tom, right? So hit Tom up on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. No, you can obviously contact me as well. Yeah. And we'll get you an idea of what it involves. Okay. What I'll do is I'll add a link in onto the podcast so that it sends people to the right place. Yeah, that's very kind of you. I've enjoyed this so much. Yeah. And I told Projected Productions as well. Oh yeah. They can go and look at that as well, because I learned a lot through that scheme with those guys. That's, so if people want to check that out, projectedproductions.com or Projected Productions on YouTube and Vimeo. Okay. Yeah. It's nice to meet someone who thinks deeply about skiing. Thank you for welcoming me to your home. My pleasure. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. All right. Cool.